Hello, YouTube. It's the Divas and the Details, and I just wanted to come on today and talk to you guys about using your credit card with more of a strategic mindset to maximize the rewards from it, mitigate risks as going into debt, things like that, and then also using it to build your credit. But before we get started, my husband and I were on vacation, and we went to New Orleans last year before everything changed in the world with travel, and we were in the French market. And we got this painting for our kids for their playroom, and I absolutely love this. So I took it out of the playroom, stuck it up here in the office because I wanted to share it with you. It's just all like these little happy animals, dinosaurs having a crawfish boil. And so that is just so typical. Baked potatoes, corn, or boiled potatoes, corn, and crawfish is just the essence of friends and family and joy in Louisiana. So missing home, thinking about that. So move that in here to give me some love and light while I do some work on this Saturday morning. But anyway, I wanted to talk to you guys. So I have been on a debt payoff journey. That has been no secret. So my goal was to address my credit card debt and my installment loan for my Yukon. And I've been trying to pay that down. I'm not really too concerned about my mortgage. My home has value. I've been in my home since 2010, I believe. So it has, equity in it, things like that. So I wanted to address, if I chose to sell tomorrow, I would be fine. I wanted to address how I wanted to see if I could still use my credit card and maximize rewards from it and not hurt myself after my debt payoff journey. So that's what I'm basically talking about today. I am not a financial expert, financial advisor. Anything that I'm saying is anecdotal from my own experiences, and I'm just hoping to share tips and tricks and just dialogue with you guys for the sake of conversation. So anyway, that's my daughter in the background. She's watching cartoons this morning, and she's talking to her brother. So if you hear little kids, we are a little kid household, and that's just the way it is. But I have my bread and butter, my U.S. Bank Cash Plus credit card. I have 3 lines of credit, but I use my Cash Plus credit card the most. It has my highest limit, so I'm able to move around money in that card and not be close to 30% utilization. The reason why I say 30% utilization is because you're kind of bucketed in tiers of your risks, and banks and lenders tend to be very risk averse. So that if you max out your credit card, your credit score is likely in the low 600s or below 600, particularly if you have other derogatories on there other than a maxed out credit card. Credit history, derogatory payments, bankruptcies, and things like that affect your credit score or count more of your credit score than anything else at 35%. But credit utilization, which I'm talking about today, accounts for 30%, which is the second highest thing. You can really change month to month drastically what your credit score looks like if you keep that utilization down. Now, the idea once I ended my debt payoff journey was to never carry a balance on my credit card, which I still do not do. However, it is possible to pay off your credit card in full every single month and still have a very poor utilization. Because what happens is you charge things on your credit card has a statement closing date. That is the date where they look at your balances and decide whether or not they're going to, give you a statement and tell you what your minimum payment is going to be to see if you're going to be charged interest. You can choose to, as soon as your statement closes, pay the balance off in full, but whatever your balance was at the time of closing, that's what gets reported to the credit agencies. So let's say I have a card that has a $10,000 limit, for example. I've charged $5,000 to pay for a sofa or a dining room set or something like that. The statement closes on, I did this on the 10th. The statement closes on the 27th. I pay that off completely on the 28th before the end of the month. I still got reported at 50% utilization, which is not good. So I had to become educated with not only not carrying a balance from month to month on my credit card, but also looking at that utilization and coming up with a different strategy so that I can use my card frequently, but not have a high utilization, which was really like making my credit score to stay stagnant. So what I started to do was I would budget. Well, what I am doing now is I budget paycheck to paycheck because I get paid every 2 weeks. What my expenses are. So what are my bills? What are my wants, entertainment, pleasure, shopping, stuff like that that I want to do. And I write that all down. What categories fit my credit card where I can maximize cash back in the 5% categories or 2% categories, or like paying a bill that doesn't necessarily fit in the category, but I can get 1% back if it doesn't have like a transaction fee for doing the transaction over the phone. I'll put that on my credit card. And then every other Friday, bi-weekly, when I get paid, I pay it off on the Friday that is well before the closing date. And for the other transactions, I pay them down to somewhere between 1% and 5% so that it gets marked that, hey, she's using this card. So we're going to let her keep it. We're not going to reduce her spending limit, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Because a lot of times when you just keep a card in a drawer and don't use it, over time the company will close your card. And when you close an account like that in that manner, or close an account period, you lose the length of time that you had been in good standing with that creditor. So your average age of accounts goes down, which also hurts your credit score. It's all like a big, tightrope that you're walking. So anyway, the second pay period, if the statement closes on like the 27th, that was, I think, our example previously, and I get paid like on the 21st, I would pay it down to 1% of a $10,000 balance, which ends up being $100. And then before the end of the month, pay that off completely so that I'm not, giving the credit card companies any interest, but I'm also getting reported to the credit agencies that I always pay on time and that my utilization is very low. A lot of people will give you the advice that you should keep your utilization under 30%. Yes, but that is like the absolute minimum to have like a decent credit score, is that your utilization needs to be under 30%. It is really much, much better to squeeze every point you can out of the utilization calculation of your credit score to keep it under 10%, preferably between 1% and 5%. To maximize your risk of falling down a rabbit hole where you're trapped in debt is that once you get that, feather in your cap for getting credit for having very low utilization and being responsible with your credit, pay off that credit card completely. The only situation where I wouldn't pay off a credit card completely is if I was in a 0% APR introductory offer for a credit card and I was paying for a big purchase like let's say Discover has 0% APR and I'm starting school and I want to pay my first tuition bill and get some of that cash back, or if I'm trying to meet a minimum spend for like a hotel credit card or an airline credit card, I would put it on there. 0% APR would be great because I could pay it down over time. I would still pay it down below 30% even if I was paying over time, because the utilization is still there even if you're not paying interest on it. And yes, I'm maximizing my rewards. I'm mitigating my risk. I'm being responsible because I'm only using the credit card for what's actually in my checking account. So I'm basically budgeting like I would normally budget, paying for things on a credit card, and then basically transferring that money over or paying the credit card bill from my checking account. And that way I am not using a credit card below its maximum value by letting it sit in a drawer and just not use it. Not helping myself to show creditors that I am trustworthy. I can handle money. I am a good steward. I can build credit. And I'm also not hurting myself by using it, not knowing the ins and outs of closing dates, and statement closing dates, and carrying balances over time. So if you prescribe to, I am debt free, but I still use credit, let me know what your strategies are. So when I paid off all my credit cards and zeroed it out, I took a break from using my credit card for like a month or so. And then I started using it in this manner. And I have found that my credit score has remained stable. And it has remained good credit, actually, honestly. So I guess when I was using credit irresponsibly, I think when I got my first credit card, my credit score was like 803. Because all I had was like my student loans, and I was just paying them. I think I had a car or two, as well. And then I went crazy. I'm like, swipe, 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 swipe. And I'm just carrying balances and blah, blah. And the credit score started to go down. And I was like, oh, let me research this because this is not fun. This is not helping me. And that's pretty much what life is all about. You step out and you try to do things. And as you learn and grow, you change behaviors and you get better at your walk over time. So that's all that we're striving for. If you like this video, please comment, rate, subscribe, like, join the Divas in the Details family here on YouTube and on Instagram. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.